I think we're live. Are we live? Are you there? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's good to spend some time with you. Hopefully, your week was good. How are you? If you're new here, we get together weekly. Currently, it's now 11 a.m. Los Angeles time. It's probably going to change, trying to figure out best time, best day that we can, have everybody and engage with our friends on the East Coast, West Coast, and UK. So trying to find the perfect time. We're never going to be able to please everybody, but we are going to try to find the best time. Derek and Eddie are the chat moderators. Eddie is formerly homeless. Derek, unfortunately, is currently homeless. They are the best moderators on the internet. I mean, there should be awards for the best. Maybe we should do that. I gotta make an award for Addie and Derek. I think that would be awesome. And we'll have like a little award show webinar. Yes, I need more coffee. It's Sunday. So isn't this is accidental? I mean, it's way better than my mom's pink house, don't you think? I am actually making a studio for live streams and different things, probably on the other side of this room. But I was, setting up this morning and I went, it's not too bad. And it's, got some colors, some cool stuff. And oh my gosh, it took months to get this. This is invisible people swag that you can get by being a patron. And I'm not pitching our Patreon. This is cool swag. I just dig this. Oh my gosh. And it just matches. A totally accidental morning, right? I am not that creative and I'm definitely not that good with colors. So I just wanted to maybe we'll go. There's some cool stuff in that rack, very unique. But I have, you might have seen it in the community. Geez, I tried to. Well, you know what? I can do it like this. On the fly camera adjustments. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. What? Oh, because I'm not looking at the right thing. So the camera adjustments were working. They just were. How come I'm getting, well, okay. So how's the audio? How is the video? But I've got to tell you, I had something happen that blew me away this week. Now, I shared it on the community section. And for those that you didn't see, I'm going to share with you now. So let me set it up a little bit. I'm going to do, I kind of planned this, and I'm going to do it opposite. And you guys, you love updates. So this is an update and it blew me away, right? And oh my gosh. Anyways, let me just get right into it. So about 10 years ago, I was walking the Strand in London, and there was a girl in a wheelchair, Louise, and I interviewed her. You can find her video. Let me put a link in here. If you were interested in the story, let me put a link in there. Hold on. Where are we? Here's the link. And so I'm walking down the streets of London, and there's a girl in a wheelchair, and I'm on the Strand, which is a theater district in London. And there's a girl in a wheelchair, and we do a video. And I got to tell you, and this has happened more, we judge people. All of us judge people. I try not to judge people, but we judge people. And my heart broke for Louise. It really did. And just knowing homeless services. So another example is Cameron, who's in Fort Mac, Canada, who is severely addicted to drugs. I totally adored him. I totally adored that he was so candid, but I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what is this guy's future going to be like? And he got sober and ended up getting married and having kids. I mean, a wonderful success story. So same thing with Luis is I was watching, interviewed her, and I just thought, oh my gosh, she's in a wheelchair. She's been out here. She's been pregnant. She's had kids. The kids got taken away because she's homeless. Oh, what's her future going to be like? Well, I got this email this week, and I'm going to read it. Kindest and warmest hellos from me. You and your team may not remember me, but I am the girl in the wheelchair you interviewed in London. I have put below the link to the video interview of me on YouTube. I want to thank you for noticing me all those years ago. I'm going to repeat that. I want to thank you for noticing me all those years ago. The power of one of the most powerful things is giving somebody else our positive attention. Homeless people, and I don't know what Luis's day was like, but I can tell you most homeless people on the streets where invisible people came from, even though people see them, they don't acknowledge them. One of the criticism invisible people gets, and it's mostly from service providers, is we shouldn't be doing these stories. The bottom line is they really just want success stories. Some are concerned about privacy, and they should be. That's a good thing. But like with Louise, she owns the rights to her video, right? And nobody is ever on this channel without consent. We have protocols to make sure that that person is empowered. They retain the rights to their story. This is one reason I don't put ads on any of those videos is because they retain the rights to their story. And I just feel it would not be right. But here's the thing, and I'll go back to the email. I want to thank you for noticing me all them years ago. There was even a gentleman I interviewed on Hollywood Boulevard that went and watched his video. Oh my gosh, that's happened a couple of times where people have gone and watched their video and then they've changed their lives. And so anyways, she continues, I'm in a better relationship now, and I'm in a combination now. I improved on my life now from where I was them years ago. I hope to hear back from you. We've already exchanged several emails. If she can and she has a camera and internet, I will try to do a live stream with her. I bet you don't regularly get many responses 10 years ago. Well, I do get a few, but not enough. Like EJ is one that just happened and we're able to do a video. I wish it was enough. Sadly, more people have died. I've thought about doing this. I just think it would be so sad, is highlighting all the people that I know that have died on the channel. I know in my mind, and I could quickly create a highlight reel of people that had died, but it's just so sad. I don't know if I could edit that, right? And you guys don't want to watch something like, maybe some people do, but you know what? I just want you to know I was still alive and still thinking about the day I was noticed, and still thinking about the day I was noticed. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. Oh, it's so powerful that we were able to help her feel as though she's noticed. And here is what she looks like now. Isn't this awesome? Isn't this awesome? Oh my gosh. So, like you guys, I love updates. They don't happen enough. As we grow, and maybe somehow we can figure out a way to reach out to people, to find people. I don't have the logistics right now. I don't have staff to be able to do something like that because it takes work to research to find people. But organically, like Luis reaching out to me is, oh my gosh, so wonderful. And I will try to, Natasha and I did a video, and with Natasha, I think I had Natasha just record it on her phone and send it to me. Maybe I'll do something like that with Luis. We've been emailing back and forth. She says she still has some food insecurity, so maybe we'll do a GoFundMe. I don't know. We have protocols. I got videos on that, but if there's a way that we can help her, we will help her. So what do you think of that? Dano, Invisible Reunion Special. That would be awesome. What's interesting, Dano, and I don't know, I don't think you live in London, but I'm sure you're aware of London. You probably have visited. But there is a gentleman, there's certain areas, they're just magical. And I don't know if it's, our brain likes to talk in stories. So it's probably just a big coincidence, right? But it's the way our brain is. So what I was going is there's certain areas like the Strand that are magical. There was a gentleman who was homeless on the Strand. One of my favorite update stories. Gosh, I should reach out to him. Wow, if I had the time to produce, you know what? So anyways, I'd read you don't discuss the South. But so he was on the Strand, he's homeless. I did his interview, and he said, when I did his 3 wishes, he wanted to, I believe it was his 3 wishes. He might've said it earlier, what his future's like. He is an artist and he wanted to start a t-shirt shop. So he had a Facebook page with his art, and I put it on the video, and people saw it, and they helped him start like a pop-up t-shirt shop, not like a storefront, but like a tent in an area where there's, kind of like a bazaar. Here at Santee Alley, and there's areas throughout Los Angeles where there's a bunch of tents and you can go buy food or clothes or different things, a pop-up thing. And what was interesting is he eventually was able to sell enough t-shirts to get himself off the streets. And then a girl from Sweden saw his video, thought he was cute, flew out to meet him, and they ended up getting married, right? So, here I am, and I can't even get a date, but I'm helping homeless people, formerly homeless people, get married. I never thought that would happen, but totally amazing. Luis's story emailing me really encouraged me to keep going. And why that is important to me is, we go through these periods where it's a little bit rough. And please know, as I say this, my heart breaks for homeless people in Los Angeles and probably other cities. I'm out almost every day, handing out socks, trying to meet people. But because of displacement, and what I mean is Los Angeles has passed what's known as a sit and lie law. So they're making it illegal to be homeless. And Los Angeles has started aggressive sweeps. Sweeps are police and sanitation come in. And I don't have my phone, Addie. Can you put it in Facebook? My phone's not with me. So Addie is trying to reach me. So thank you for letting me know, Internet. So Addie, I opened up Facebook if you need to get a hold of me. I'm sorry, I didn't have my phone. I didn't. We will never do this again without the phone. Is video quality back good? Oh, she's letting me know video quality is bad. That shouldn't be happening. How's video? Okay, so Addie, it might be just on your end. Is anybody having problems with video? And thank you, Addie, for letting me know. So Ma is fuzzy. Video looks great, good. So some people are seeing a fuzzy and some people aren't. So that probably is not on my end. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Ashley. And thanks, people, for letting me know. It really is a big help because I'm here streaming alone. There's no team. There's no quality control except you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. So I'd rather have a false alarm than I would have go through a stream and not knowing. So back to sweeps. Sweeps are police and sanitation come in and they justify it as a cleaning. And if they came in and just cleaned, it wouldn't be so bad, but it's really psychological warfare. They push people they displace people. And imagine wherever you live, you're in an apartment. Imagine that you had to pack up every 2 weeks, everything you own and move it across the street for a day and then move it back. Imagine doing that. I mean, I just moved. It took me weeks to pack up. I still have a few boxes that I haven't unpacked. You guys have been seeing me in the corner of the kitchen because I didn't unpack. And now, where is it? There. No, it's there. I keep on looking at I got to stop looking at the delayed feed. Now I've unpacked stuff, and imagine if you had to do that. And, you could argue, well, homeless people shouldn't have stuff. We're humans. You know what? You know why people hoard? Is it makes them feel comfortable. It gives them a security. That's why people hoard. So thank you, Anonymous. So sweeps have been displacing people throughout Los Angeles. I have been to several areas, from Venice to the Valley. Yesterday I was at a park near LAX. And hey, Matthew, thank you. And I've been to Hollywood. I've been walking around downtown. Part of it, I am taking it slow, trying to get back to Los Angeles. Part of it is I've had a lot of admin stuff to do behind the scenes and meetings and things. But the main point that I'm trying to make, and first off, it's horrible for homeless people, right? My concern is about homeless people. We, as a YouTube channel, I haven't been able to do the first person interviews like we normally do. And what that has forced me to do is to start thinking of maybe we need to change. And first person interviews will always be part of what we do. But if homeless people are being displaced, it's harder to get first person interviews. I will argue that first person interviews are now even more important, because what I'm trying to do is get homeless people to talk about being displaced and the trauma. See, when somebody is displaced, then outreach can't find them. It makes it harder for social services to get that person off the streets. And I'm trying to focus on interviews of people talking about criminalization. But until, there's growing content on YouTube. People just putting cameras out the window and driving. People doing body cameras. People paying homeless people for interviews. The reason we don't do that is once I start paying, people are going to have crazy stories, right? They're just out to make money. And that's not just homeless people. That's anybody else. And it's an integrity. We're a news organization. We're a nonprofit newsroom. And the homeless person retains the rights to their story. Now, like if we're doing a mini documentary, we pay because we have to ask for rights. For example, Theo. Theo was compensated several $100s and brand new, really expensive sneakers. And I was happy to help. So that is the difference. The point I'm trying to make is I've been walking around, meeting a lot of people, handing out socks, but not getting stories. So I'm going to have to figure out how to create content that also has impact that you guys engage with. So if you have any ideas of what if you guys have any ideas of what type of content you like, that you would like to see. I mean, for example, we started with Luis. And Luis, and Luis, you know what? So we live till we die, and Addie deleted it, but I'm going to read it. I get this to do this. So you benefit from their stories and they cannot. The point of this channel, and you continue to say you call that hypocritical. The point of this channel is to get you, the viewer, to go end homelessness. So we don't fundraise off videos. I actually forgot to monetize this live stream. Some of our videos are monetized, but none of the homeless videos are monetized. None. Not a single one. I could flip a switch. You can go to Social Blade and see how much money we don't get every month, because Social Blade measures thinking that every video is monetized. No, you look at the top million views, there's no ads on them. We are not benefiting monetarily from a person's story. What the purpose of that story is, like we saw with Louise, is to work to end homelessness. Most people do not believe homeless people are human. There are a huge amount and growing of YouTubers that are profiting off homeless stories. They have ads. They realize that I can stick a camera out of my window and drive through Skid Row or Kensington, put ads on it, and make a bunch of money. Now, I feel that is wrong. And we live to die to talk about this directly. The person retains the rights to their story. Any video on invisible people that is a first-person interview, that person owns that interview. I don't. Invisible people doesn't. They retain the rights to their video. Nobody's benefiting from it. And they can, if they want, for whatever reason, contact me and I will remove it. That's what makes the difference between invisible people and all the other YouTubers that are now trying to make money off homelessness. We work to end homelessness. Housing programs have started. Feeding programs have started. Outreach programs have started because of these videos. Millions upon millions of people have a new understanding of the challenges of homelessness and homeless people because of this video. It's the first person interviews that people resonate with. And they're important. But I want to make something perfectly clear. We are not benefiting from them. The point is to get you, the viewer, to do a few things. Number one, work to fix the affordable housing crisis in your community. Living wage has not, minimum wage is $7.25 for 12 years. You can go on and on of all the causes of homelessness. Affordable housing is number one. Number two, support local nonprofits. If you see a video on this channel, there's homeless people just like that person in your community. We're trying to get you to go help them. So who benefits is all of us. Because if we end homelessness, that person gets off the streets and we save taxpayer money. And three, educate yourself and your neighbors and your bowling league or your Girl Scout group or whatever. Educate yourself and others. That is the benefit of this content. And so I know I drive Addie and Derek a little crazy as monitors, but I want to have those conversations, right? If it's even if it's something I don't agree with, the only thing we censor is racist comments and people that are going to be nasty and unproductive and personal attacks. I haven't really ranted, though. I haven't really ranted. Not tonight yet. Uh-oh, I got another message. Yeah, it was a subtle rant. I didn't want to get too worked up. So Mediocrity 25 plus years wrote, and I don't know why it was deleted, but homelessness will never end, only going to get 100 times worse. And that's sadly true. See, we know how to end homelessness. We've known for a long time. There's just not the political and public will to do it. And sadly, we're going to see homelessness grow. And the people at the top, they're smart people, but they're it takes so much ego and confidence and political maneuvering to become the top of an organization, especially in politics, and they don't want to compromise. So we're doing the same stuff we've been doing for 10 years, expecting a different result. And that's the definition of insanity. Authentic. I don't know if Occupy ever really if Occupy I have issues with Occupy and Crystal, so I lost my train of thought because Crystal just wrote she found a place, which is awesome, and thank you for the donation. So Occupy House. So I would go. I happened to be on a road trip the year that Occupy happened. And in fact, right when the first Wall Street or Occupy, I went to because I happened to be in New York City at that time. And what I saw was a bunch of people trying to create content to go viral. Yes, there's protesters there. And yes, I think the messaging of the protesters was important. But then as I traveled, for instance, the one that really sticks out was St. Louis. You had, and so not all the camps were like this. There were some that really took care of the homeless people. So you had college students camping out over in one area, complaining, or protesting that we need, there's not balance in this world and people in poverty, and that's what they're messaging and everything else. And then over on the other side of the park were homeless people camping, and they weren't helping them, right? So here's these college kids and advocates or whatever saying we need to help the poor, and the poor are right feet away, and they're not helping them. In fact, there was several Occupy camps where homeless people were not welcome. Eva, it's growing everywhere. How far is Vista, California, from LA? Chandler, so here's the thing: there's YouTubers that they go and they pay a homeless person $20 or $40 or whatever to do an interview. And if you ask somebody that's desperate for money, especially somebody who may have an addiction, they're going to tell a story that may not be the truth because they're speaking for the money. Basically, it's called acting. And these same YouTubers make huge money from their ads on those videos. What is different about Invisible People is we're a news organization. So we don't pay people unless it's like a mini documentary. And then we pay an actor's wage. We don't pay a person a homeless wage, $20, right? We pay them what a house person would get for going on TV. I mean, everything we do at the core of our foundation is everybody should be treated equally. So if you're going to put a homeless person on camera and ask for their rights, you should pay them what you would pay an extra or an actor for that particular video content. Now, Invisible People, each homeless person retains the rights. So all those first person videos, there's like 1,000 of them. I don't own them. Each person owns their own story. There's no ads placed on any of them. If I put ads on them, we would make another $300,000 a year. I believe you do what's right even when others don't. So by not placing ads, I'm saying no to 300,000. And people argue, well, you could do a lot with those 300,000. 300,000 a year is not going to do a lot compared to the impact of changing people's perception and gaining political and public will to end homelessness. Everything we do, we focus on ending homelessness for everybody. So I could buy a bunch of pizzas, a bunch of tents, a bunch of sleeping bags, and it's going to help some, but we need to fix why those people are hungry. We need to fix why they're outside permanently. The most important thing and what we focus on is ending homelessness. And to end homelessness, it takes you, the viewer. You have to speak up and fight locally, state, federal. I mean, we're losing the battle. The battle to end homelessness is going towards criminalization. People want homeless people arrested. Laws to arrest people are being passed just for being poor. We're criminalizing poverty. Instead of housing people, which saves lives and saves taxpayer money, we are there's a significant movement to lock people up, to criminalize them. I met a homeless person yesterday that got a $300 ticket for camping. He doesn't have an income. How's he going to pay? So then what happens? There's a warrant that gets arrested, and then he gets a bench warrant, and then he probably might even get arrested, and then it's on his record, and then he can't get a job. So the point of this work, what we do, is to change all that, to help lots of homeless people. So hopefully that makes sense. Cool, Crystal. Oh my gosh, Springfield is now arresting. Oh, the wolf that could. I like it. Hey, Stephen. We're coming down to an end, and I know a lot of people may have not seen. And you know what? I really don't like to talk about myself, but I have these. So let me see. Let me get to one where it shows. So this right there is we won second place Shorty Award for the best use of YouTube. Number one was Lady Gaga. Number two was Invisible People. The best use of YouTube. Now, I personally think it was election fraud. I mean, how can Lady Gaga win over us, right? I'm joking. Lady Gaga is amazing, right? And I'm unbelievable that we took second place. And then this, where is it? That is first place for best documentary short. So we won first place for the best documentary short. And then I have to look up something. And where are we? Where are we? So a couple others, the awards that look like Emmy Awards and all those are just stuff that I did when I was a TV producer. The statue there is a Woo Woo Award, which some friends in Venice gave me a long time ago. The hat is from South by Southwest, had these all hat parties, which you had to, they're run by Chevrolet, and they were, I just really adored them. And South by Southwest was really instrumental and really helped Invisible People. I mean, we did a big thing with Gary Vaynerchuk and Pepsi, and we did a lot of really cool things with South by Southwest. In fact, right there, that award is from the Dewey Winburn Community Service Award, which is from the founder of South by Southwest Interactive. So he passed away of cancer, and they created a community service award in his name because he was all about that technology should help people, and South by Southwest acknowledged Invisible People as, being a leader in helping people with technology. So that you can see are YouTube socks, which is how I started on YouTube, was YouTube socks. I was at a conference. I actually used a different platform and they had YouTube socks, and I went up and I, because I give out socks, I started talking and I was like, how do I get YouTube socks? And the woman's name is Ramya. She still works for Google, and she talked me into it. And then this is Chris Pirillo pillow from Gnomedex. Now, you may or may not know Chris Pirillo. He's one of the first influencers. Chris is still amazing. Just, oh my gosh. But he had this very eclectic conference called Gnomedex. And it was really what made it really springboarded Invisible People. So I'll tell you the story. So at the time, I might have had 200 Twitter followers. And there was an organization called Whirl, an app. It's no longer around, but it was like kind of a Foursquare. Does Foursquare even use Foursquare as an education app? And Whirl was like location and photos. So I was going into 10 cities in Sacramento, and I'm telling the stories of homeless people, obviously, with, my camera. And I was using Whirl to tell my story behind the scenes. So Whirl noticed it. And at the time, I was unemployed. I was unemployed for 12 years of doing Invisible People. I was unemployed. I was facing eviction. I just knew that I had to keep going because I knew that there was importance in this work. So Whirl saw it and they said, would you come up and speak to our developers? And so they flew me up to Seattle, which is my first time to Seattle. And again, like, I'm facing eviction. I don't know where my food's going to come from. And here's a tech startup flying me to Seattle. So they had, you might not remember them if you weren't on Twitter 10 years ago, but a big thing was called, the big thing was called tweet ups. So they had a tweet up, and Chris Pirillo was there, and they were inviting him. And I did my talk, and afterwards, Chris Pirillo took me to the side, and he says, and it was right at the time when the first iPhone with video came out. And yeah, I'm that old. So Chris said, look, you need to have video on your phone. I'm going to buy you a new iPhone. And he did. And then he said, I want you to speak at Gnomedex. And so I was on a road trip and I parked, I think, in North Carolina. And then I drove all the way. I parked in North Carolina, and then Chris paid for a flight to take me to Gnomedex. And at Gnomedex, there's a homeless camp, very infamous, called Nicholsville, that I visited when I was there with Whirl. And there was a gentleman named James. So I'm very big on, whenever I speak, I try to bring a homeless person on stage, because it's not about me. It's about homelessness and the homeless person. So I invited James, who is a homeless person, to come up at the end, right? But the people didn't know it. And James wore a suit and tie. Like, I don't remember if he had a tie. Yeah, I think he had a tie on, but he definitely wore a suit, which I didn't ask him. That was his own thing. So after I did my presentation, I played a little bit of James's video, and I said, well, do you have a question and answer about homelessness? Let me bring up an expert. And I brought up James, right? And oh my gosh, the public went crazy. And these are all tech people. I mean, CNN even documented that the word homeless was a top Twitter trend. And that was when Twitter mattered. So, from Chris Brogan to Liz Strauss to Jeff Pulver to, so many wonderful people. Because see, invisible people, it's not me, it's you, it's we, right? All these people supported invisible people, it all started at the beginning. So I can go on and on, but one of the most unique things down here is, it's hard to do this, right? Backwards. That's a pillow from Ethiopia in Africa. It's actually wood. It's I was in Sudan a couple of times. And one more I will point out. That's a youth award that I just got from a Youth Homeless Services. And that one all the way over there is for being one of the top 50 most influential nonprofit, whatever they call me anyways, which was an honor. And YouTube user says, Mark, please focus on homeless people, not on branding invisible people. Okay. Invisible people, we do focus on homeless people. I actually try. It's very rare for me to go through all these awards, but it's really you guys that did all that, right? What makes us different is it's not about me. When we started early on, I actually tried to remove me. And because I was facing eviction and I had lost my job, the news media wanted my story. And I fought it for a while. And then I was like, God, if the way to get people to learn about homelessness, and Pete and John and Popcorn and Slim and Derek and Addie and Walter's not in the room today. Oh gosh, I got to reach out to him. And all these homeless people, if the path to it is through my story, then okay, I'll do it. So for a few years, because there's the documentary, that's the channel video on this. I agreed to that documentary if it wouldn't be about me, and they made it about me, right? Invisible people, first and foremost, you know what? So I was and we've got 8 minutes left. I was gonna do this, and we're gonna go back, and this is how I started. 10 years ago, I was walking down the Strand in London, and this young disabled woman shared her story with all of us. And it was a very sad story. In fact, I even start, at the beginning of the title, I said, warning, it's a sad story. And I left wondering what this young woman's future was going to be like. This week, she sent me an email. You can, if you want, I put it in the community section. But the 2 lines, if you're reading this, that are really mind-blowing to me is her 4th sentence. I want to thank you for noticing me. And homeless people, even though they're seen, they're not really seen. People don't acknowledge them. And down a little further, she says, I just want to thank you, I just want you to know I was still alive and still thinking of the day I was noticed. And this is what she looks like now. She sent this picture. I'm going to try to get her on a live stream or maybe do a video like we did with Natasha. There's a couple things like Addie and Derek and maybe a couple of other people, we do an online support group for homeless people. It's probably the best decision I ever made. And then there's people like Luis who, because their video was placed on YouTube, it makes them feel noticed. That's priceless. And then there's people like you who watched her video or watched a video and said, you know what, we've got to do something to help these people. No other organization or campaign has connected or does connect the public to homelessness in such a positive way as we do. And the point is to build empathy, to change the culture and conversation surrounding homelessness, to create policy change. If we do not create policy change, we will never end homelessness. So the person said, you know, I should focus on homeless people and not the branding. I could tomorrow grow this channel to gazillion views and gazillion subscribers and making a bunch of money if I did focus on branding, but I focus on homeless people. So our view count is tiny compared to all these other people that are focusing now on the negative of homeless people. And I saw in the comments, people list other channels. And, you know, if you look in the comments of their video and people are saying nasty things about homeless people, I mean, there's people that just hate homeless people, but are their videos reinforcing negative stereotypes, or are they changing public perceptions? Are they working to help homeless people, or are they just posting those videos to get ad dollars? Oh, Lady T, you just saw that? Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, unbelievable. I wish more, you know, like with EJ, and we've had success stories of, Claire and anybody that's formerly homeless or homeless. There's lots of places on Facebook, lots. So this is only for formerly homeless and homeless people. Go to wearevisible.com. Wearevisible.com. Claire, that's where the group is. It's only for formerly homeless and homeless people. If you're not homeless or you've never experienced homelessness, please do not click on the link. It's not for you. And it's not that we're excluding anybody. It's a peer support group. So for example, last night, someone posted about a woman who is new to homelessness living in her car. And I wish I could help her get into an apartment, but we don't have those resources. But what we do have is there's probably 30, maybe 40 women living in their cars in that group, and they can encourage and advise and help that woman as she tries to survive and get support. So it's only a peer support group. So if you're not homeless or formerly homeless, please, it's not for you. There's plenty of groups for whatever you're into. This is only for homeless and formerly homeless people. Thank you, Dawn. Okay, folks, any last words? So I'll end on that. Leon asks, what's the difference between UK and US? And I was shocked. Homelessness is very similar. What's big difference is healthcare. Healthcare in the UK kicks in to prevent somebody from being homeless, or you don't see the extreme mental health or extreme disabilities, wheelchairs, and different things. Like in Louise's story, you see it. But I haven't talked to her. I'm going to try to get her on the channel, so I probably shouldn't speculate. But in the UK, there's just support for healthcare. I mean, I remember it might have been even the trip that I spent where I met her. I remember being on the Strand. They call them rough sleepers, talking to rough sleepers, and they all had dentists and doctors, and they just made homelessness home appointments like anybody else, and they were shocked that our healthcare system. And then there's John Bullringbash, who I've interviewed twice on Invisible People, and one time I actually interviewed him in the hospital in the UK. And it was mind-blowing at the care he was receiving, because here in the United States, homeless people don't get the same health care. Doctors and nurses and staff are often judgmental. Hey, BG, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm trying to remember from last time. Too little fish. That's a problem everywhere. Where and there's several interviews of a Jennifer who is in a wheelchair in Canada, and she couldn't access the shelters because it wasn't wheelchair accessible. Aaron, thank you. Yeah, it's a serious problem, and they housed her a couple times, but like they put her on the second floor where there's stairs. I mean, how can you do that? Houseless, not homeless, wants a GoFundMe, and again, a GoFundMe only makes you feel better. A GoFundMe does not end homelessness. You will see a GoFundMe if, number one, the person can handle a large sum of money. Sometimes a large sum of money will do negative to a person. And at the core of everything we do is nobody gets hurt. Number two, they have to be the person setting up the account. There's no middleman. I'm not going to be the middleman. One of their friends ain't going to be the middleman. They have to have direct access to the funds. That's not always possible because they don't have a bank account or they can't get to the internet. I was talking to Sunshine yesterday. We're looking at doing a GoFundMe for her, and I told her she has to set it up herself. It has to be herself. And three, they have to want it. I've interviewed people and said, hey, man, gosh, let's do a GoFundMe. We'll get you some help. And they didn't want it. And, and then you look, this channel we raise about 100,000, maybe more every year in GoFundMes that go directly to that person. And no one has gotten out of homelessness because of the GoFundMe. Like Amanda, which many of you know, Amanda's GoFundMe raised $24,000. The money helped her, but it didn't get her out of homelessness. Erin, her fundraiser raised $10,000. And you guys all kept complaining, oh, she got $10,000. Why is she still homeless? Because nobody donated an apartment. Nobody donated rent. If you don't have rent coming in, a GoFundMe usually spikes about a couple thousand right at the beginning. And then people, it's maybe 25 to 100 a week, right? That's not enough to live on, right? If you don't have rent, and money for food and money for transportation and cell phone and everything else, you don't get out of homelessness. So what a GoFundMe does is it makes you feel better because you watch a video and you're like, oh my gosh, we want to do something. That's a good thing. In your community, support your community. Invisible People is the only nonprofit that will tell you to donate local in your community over giving to us. Now, we do good work. We are, accountable. We, the more that we can raise, the more impact we can have. But I want to end homelessness. I want to end homelessness. And to end homelessness, if you're giving $100, you should give it locally to people in your area. So if you see a GoFundMe and you want to give $100, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to feel good about yourself, but don't expect it to end homelessness. Now, if you give $100 to a nonprofit that's working to end homelessness in your community, you're really working to make, help homeless people in a significant way that will hopefully help them get out of homelessness. So Melville Media, most nonprofits are not scams. No, most nonprofits are working. I mean, can you imagine a world where we didn't have people working to make it a better place, right? Gosh, I wish that was it. And most nonprofits do good. They do great, right? But there's something about human nature. Bernie Madoff, Enron. I read an article about a clinic charging $300, almost $400 for COVID tests, making millions, right? Human nature. There's people at for-profit and nonprofit that take advantage. That sucks. It just sucks. But the idea, there's no such thing as poverty pimps. Look, if you shut down mental health nonprofits, addiction nonprofits, housing nonprofits, homeless nonprofits tomorrow, imagine the streets. It would look like a sci-fi movie. Melville Media, I am not wrong, and I'm sure you know somebody that sets up fake nonprofits. There's fake nonprofits that do bad. And what I said was there's fake for-profits. There's people that take advantage of you. Your phone gets calls, at least in the United States, robocalls on insurance scams all day long. People suck. Wait, I got to take that back. Some people suck. Some people just suck. That is bad. But there are nonprofits that are doing a good job. They give their all to help make our world a better place. Yes, there's sucky people in the world. There's people, but this thinking that all nonprofits are bad is dangerous because it's not the truth. It really isn't. Sayings like poverty pimps, that's not the truth. It's not. The truth is some people suck, some people take advantage, but the vast majority of nonprofits do good. Now, systems are broken, and we need to fix systems. One of the issues with homelessness is nonprofits are focused on ending homelessness, but it's affordable housing, lack of a living wage, racism, foster care, criminal justice system, domestic violence, all these other things need to be fixed before we actually end homelessness. Most nonprofits are working on fixing the symptom, not the cause. And that is a problem. And it's not that they're bad. They're giving their all. I mean, gosh, anyways. Well, folks, thank you for joining me on another Sunday. Thank you for Eddie and Derek for being the best moderators and taking the time to be with us. I'm going to keep updates in the community section. This next week, I am at Vid Summit, which is a YouTube conference. And we're going to hopefully come up with a new content strategy. I'm trying to build a media hub. If you guys don't know, we post daily news on Apple News and Google News. So if you on your phone, whether you're Android or iPhone, we're there every day. So open your news app, we're there. This YouTube is just one thing we do. But it's a big thing because of all of you. You guys are great. And so I don't know. I would like to I don't know how to do this. And I ask you guys a lot. Maybe we'll do a poll or something. I'm trying to find a time zone or a time that hits West Coast, East Coast, and UK in decent enough hours. I don't know how long this Sunday at 11 o'clock is going to last, because even this morning, I left the phone in the other room and Addie's trying to, text me about, quality control. So anyways, thank you, Keith. It's very kind of you. This one, I don't know if it was, there's other videos that we did. So one of the things that I'm going to try to do is all these, rants we do. I know, Dano, I think about you constantly when I think about time zones, because you become part of the family, and it's Invisible People's audience is first and foremost United States. It's just, that's where we're trying to end homelessness the most. And then second and third, and this is equal, is Canada and the United Kingdom. We've done a lot of work in both. And I hope that will continue. I know the Canadian, this year we planned on doing a bunch of rural homelessness in Canada, but we couldn't cross the border. The border is now open, and now I'm not in upstate New York anymore. Anyways, the point is we're going to try to find a time zone that is conducive for everybody the best we can. And right now, next week, 11 o'clock may change as we keep going. I think the world of you. Have a marvelous week.